right. Okay, so let's continue now. Let's learn about workbook sheets and then one or two basic things about Excel before we start looking at some a bit more complex things. But let's learn some of the very important basics. So please, now the essence of this training, like I told us in the introductory class, please, is going to be a very practical class. So as much as possible, I'm not going to use so much of technical terms or jargons. I'm going to use as much as possible very simple words and simplify it as much as possible so you can actually know how to use it. Now, the whole essence of this training is to equip you as an accountant to use Microsoft Excel well. So that means the focus is going to be more on Excel for accountants. So that's why I'm not going to use a lot of very technical Excel terms. I'm going to make it as simple and as straightforward as possible. All right. So let's get down to business. All right. So like I explained last tutorial video, this is a workbook, and I told us you can actually change the name of your workbook here. All right, so let's call it okay, let's just call it Excel training. Okay, all right, Excel training. So that's all right. You can see now, and like I told you, once you are connected online, everything you do on M365 is what is automatically saved. So you don't have to press in Control Save. Every button you press after you do it is automatically saved and backed up on your Microsoft Excel sorry, Microsoft 365 account. Okay, all right. So that's a workbook. So this that we have here, all this is a what? A workbook. Okay, so let me show us how to create a new workbook. So let's say we want to work with 3 4 different workbooks. Okay, so you just come to File, under File, come to New. Under New, just click what? Blank workbook. And I've also showed us in the last tutorial video, if you want to work on templates, there are a lot of templates that you can work on. You can check out those later. The advantage of templates is that it's already pre-configured. So that means you have things, you just edit 1 or 2 things. Like you want to work on invoice, there's a template there that you can use. So you just input the details you want to use, do 1 or 2 adjustments, and you're good to go. That's the advantage of templates. So you can do templates. So this is a new workbook. Okay, so that's how to create a new workbook. Okay, now but if you are using the normal Microsoft Excel 2019, 2018, 2021, whatever version you are using, okay, so what you can do is once you press Ctrl N on your keyboard, that will automatically create a new workbook. But for this M365, you just go to your file here, you click on file, and you click on what? New. So it creates a new workbook for you. So that's how it works. Okay, that reminds me, please. Now, there are 2 major ways to navigate or move around your Microsoft Excel. You can use your keyboard. Some people call it shortcuts. Okay, so before the end of the training, I will send a list of all the shortcuts you have on Microsoft Excel. So instead of having to use your mouse, you can use your keyboard to get things done. So as much as possible, as we're going to be doing different things on Excel, I'm going to be using both the mouse and the keyboard, so you can see how it actually works and functions. Okay, so I'm going to be doing that as much as possible. But let me say something here very importantly. Okay, your it depends on, for some people they prefer using the keyboard while some people prefer using mouse. It depends on what you are used to and what you are familiar with. You know, the thing is that for every tool you use, how you use it is actually very important. For me personally, I am more familiar with using my mouse. I can work very fast with my mouse. So whatever I want to do, I use more of my mouse. I don't use so much of my keyboard. Some people, they are so good with using keyboard and shortcuts, so they just press those keyboard and shortcuts. But what I'll do is I will show you the two. It now depends on whatever way you now want to practice. And one way is not necessarily better than the other. It depends on how effective and how efficient you are. I can actually move as fast as if I want to use my keyboard using my mouse, because I know where to actually navigate and what to actually work on. But like I said, for the essence of learning and for the sake of this training, I'm going to be showing you both the uh, shortcut using your keyboard and also using your mouse, your mouse or your keypad to actually to navigate Microsoft Excel. All right, great. So that is a workbook. Okay, so we have workbook here. So let's just close this workbook. Okay, let's close the workbook. So let's go back to this our workbook. Okay, now for this our workbook, what we're going to do next is this. Now for this workbook, we are going to work with sheets. Now look at here, come towards this down part. You can see that we have we have sheet 1 here. Now this one that I'm on, this is a workbook, this is a sheet. Now on Excel, you can create as many sheets as possible. I'm going to show us how to create sheets, how to rename how to move sheets, how to reorder sheets, how to copy and paste, and all those what other things. Okay, so this is a sheet. So this particular is a sheet. Now let's say that I want to prepare my financial statement. I want this to be my statement of profit or loss. I can create another sheet and just make it my what? My statement of financial position or balance sheet. Okay, so that's why we call it what? Sheets. Okay, so you can create as 50, 60. I will confirm the exact number of sheets that Excel allows you to work to create, and I will tell you, I'll send it to the group. Okay, so that's how to work with what sheets now. So let's get down. So this is sheet now. Okay, now this is sheet one now. So let's start now. I will show you the keyboard. If you want to work with sheet, you want to create, you want to delete, you want to rename, just come to this sheet here and right click. It's going to bring a small, what do I call it, tab. Okay, so here you can see, if I want to insert means that I want to create a new what? A new sheet. So let me click insert. Okay, all right, it's loading. You can see that now I have my sheet two. So that's creating a new sheet. All right, but now let me show you the keyboard. Like I said, I'll be showing you the mouse and showing you the keyboard, or the keypad and the keyboard. Okay, so if I want to create a new sheet, I'll just go to my keyboard, press shift, and then press F11. Shift and F11. Okay, all right, let's see. So you can see create a new sheet. So you can use your keyboard, or you can use your what? Your mouse. So I can use my keyboard and I can use my mouse to create what? New sheet. So that's how to create new sheet. So if you're using your keyboard, you come to this place. Okay, so you click on this and click on what? Insert. Okay, all right. Then you have sheet one. We've created three sheets now, or you can just do shift and what? F11 key. All right, on your keyboard, and that will automatically create a what? A new sheet for you. All right. Apart from creating sheets, I can also delete. Do you understand? If I don't want this sheet again, I can delete. But please note that if you are deleting a sheet on Excel, it's not, you cannot undo it. There are some things that you can, I will show you when we start working with Excel, you can undo. Let's say I made a mistake, or I enter the wrong figure. I can just do my undo. We'll look at both the shortcut for undo and using the mouse to do your what? To do undo. All right. So now, but please, when you are deleting sheets, you have to be careful. Look at this now. You can't undo deleted sheets, and you may lose some what? Some data. So if I delete a sheet, that means I can't get that sheet back. So you have to be very careful when you are deleting sheets on Excel. Because once you delete, so most times if you want to delete, it's better to just copy and maybe take to a new workbook or keep somewhere in case you need that information before you finally delete. Because once you delete, that means you no longer what? You no longer need that particular sheet. Okay, so let's just click OK. So you can see that the sheet has been deleted. So that's how to delete. Okay, let's go. Let's look at the next thing we can do with our sheet. We can hide our sheet. Okay, so that means if I don't want anybody to see that particular sheet, do you understand? Let's say I'm preparing my financial and I have a very rough worksheet where I did some very rough calculations. So I can just come to what? Hide. So once I hide it, you see that the sheet is still available, just that now it's hidden. And if I want to unhide it, you can just come here and click on what? Unhide. Okay, so you see, look at the sheet I've hidden. I'll just press OK. So and it brings the sheet what? The sheet back. So unless I want someone to see what I'm doing on sheet 2, I don't want the person to see sheet 3. Okay, so I'll just come to sheet 3 before I show the person and what? And hide it. So the only thing available will be what? Sheet 2. So that's how to hide sheets and unhide sheets in your what? Excel. All right, let's move. Then next, okay, still right clicking that, you can duplicate sheets. That means that I have created a sheet, I need that sheet again for another calculation or something, or whatever analysis I want to do. I'll just what? Duplicate. So you can see that he has duplicated it. That means he has created exactly like that sheet. So that is what? That is how to do that. So you can duplicate. So let's say I prepared a trial balance for last year. I want to use that same trial balance as a template for this year. What will I do? Just duplicate the sheet, and so to give it sheet 2, you can see in brackets you have another 2. That means that that's a duplicate or a copy of that sheet. Okay, so I'll come here. So that's how to duplicate sheet. Okay, in the same way you can also copy and paste. Now with duplicating, when I've duplicating means that on this same workbook, are we together, I'm going to do is going to create the sheet here. Now let's say I want to copy this sheet now, and I want to go and paste it in a new workbook. That one I'm not going to do duplicate, I'm going to do copy. So let's go. So just do file, let's do a new workbook. Okay, a new blank workbook. Okay, great. You now have copied. Okay, all right. Loading is going to bring in now. Okay. So all right. But that's true. Let me say this. One of the disadvantages of M365 is also the fact that you have to have very good internet to be able to enjoy it. Because if the internet is slow, most times, it's on the internet. It might not be as fast as possible. But also, once you have good internet, you're going to enjoy, and it's going to be very good for you to work with. Okay. So now, so I want to go and paste it. So I'll just come here and click on what? Paste sheet. You can see that the sheet has been pasted here. So now the difference between copy and paste and duplicate is that when you duplicate, you can only duplicate on the same what? Workbook. But when you copy, you can copy from one workbook to another what? Workbook entirely. So I can copy sheet, I can move any sheet I want from a particular workbook to what? Another what? Workbook. So that's the advantage of what? Copying sheet. So copy and paste. All right. So let's go back to our normal workbook. Okay, so that's how to what? To copy and paste. So I've explained the difference between duplicating and copying and what? And pasting. Okay, so next, okay, then you can rename. All right, great. You can rename the sheet. Okay, so let's go. So let's say I want to rename it. I want to call this what can I call it? Let's say P or L. Hypothetical example. I'll just press enter. You can see it's already renamed. So if I want to call this, let's say I want to call this notes to the account. Notes. All right, pam. So that's how to rename sheet so that you can easily identify, especially if you have a lot of sheets. Most times it's advantageous for you to what? To rename those sheets so that you can easily identify, move and navigate between those sheets. Let's create one more sheet. So let's call this one SFP, statement of financial position. Great. So that's how to create that's how to rename your sheet. Okay, so that's rename. Okay, so let's go. Then we have what? We have tab color here. All right, so now let's look at this. So if I make it this, so tab color is very simple. You just want to color what? Your sheets. Okay, so you can see that this is I've colored it. I'm not sure this. I think this is orange color. So I can also color this. I can make it a different color. So let's say I want to put this as green. So sometimes you might want to quickly identify some things. Let's say there's a particular sheet I want to work on. I want to make it very easy to identify. And I have a lot of sheets. I can just color the sheet whatever I want to color the sheet. So that's how to work with what? Coloring your sheet. Okay. So next, let's look at, okay, then manage protection, copy link to the sheet, show changes. All right, these ones I will teach us how to do it for those that register for the advanced class. So when you want to protect your workbook or worksheets, okay, you don't want people to do one or two adjustments on it and all those things. Then how to also share the sheet so that others can also work on the same sheet and all those things. We'll look at that later. Then how to also monitor changes. So you have sent the sheet to a colleague to work on. He has adjusted some things. How do you actually check what the person has done to be able to monitor? Okay, he adjusted, he changed these figures and all those other things. We'll do that more in the advanced class. So that's how to work with the sheet. So we have looked at how to create, how to copy, how to duplicate, how to rename, how to also change the color of your what? The sheet tabs. Okay, great. So that's working with sheets. All right, great. Now, please, before we continue, now, like I said, this is a practical class. That means whatever I am doing, please, I ensure that you also do it. So the best way to enjoy this training is open this video, watch it, pause it, go and also do the exact same thing I've done. Like they say, practice makes what? Perfect. The best way to understand and get the best from this training is to actually what? Is to actually practice. Okay, like they say, practice makes perfect. All right. So that's a sheet. Okay. So I've worked with workbook, I've looked at sheets now. Let's look at the next thing. Let's look at how do we work on this now. Now, please, this is, like I told, this is a sheet I mean in our workbook. Okay. Now you have P or L. You can see that we have different sheets. We have our SFP. So for our P or L now, okay. So now let's go. So now this is a cell. You can see if I click, this box is showing this is a cell. Now this is, if you want to know the name of the cell, H7. How do you know it's H7? This is your what? Your columns. This one on top like this is called columns. Let me see. This one I'm highlighting is called columns. So to highlight, I'll just press shift and then press the what? Press the mouse, I said sorry, the keypad, the direction button on my keypad. So I'll just press it to go that way. So that's how I highlight. So if I want to highlight it down, I can press shift and just press the down arrow key on my keyboard. You can see that it's highlighting it. You can also highlight with your mouse. Okay, so what do? This one is even faster. So you can do what? Your keypad, you just, okay, right, That's left click on it and then hold it and then drag to as many cells as you want. So that's how to highlight. Okay, so you can drag to as many cells as you want. So like I was saying, this is my what? This is my column. All this A, B, C is my yeah, my column. And these are what? These are rows. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. All these ones are rows. Okay. So the intersection of your row and column is what makes a what? A cell. This is cell what? C6. Cell C6. Okay. So then still talking of highlighting cells. If I want to highlight all my cells, I want to work on everything. I want everything to be highlighted. I want to do one or two things, maybe adjust fonts for all the data I have in this sheet. What I can do is this: there are two ways. I'll show us how to use the what, the mouse or the keypad, and I'll also show us how to use the keyboard, like I told us, shortcuts and what, the normal way. So if you come here under this C6, you see a button, you see this place here. When you click it, it automatically highlights all the cells in this sheet. Okay, so you can see that it has done that. Another way to do that is what? Press your Control A. Okay, sorry. Control A. You can see that it has also highlighted all the words, all the cells in the sheet. So let's say I want to change the font for everything here. I can just come here and change the what, the font. So it will apply to every data I have in this what, in this sheet. I can also, so whatever I do here now will affect everything in this what, in this sheet. If I want to format too, we'll still look at formatting in so one or two or more tutorial videos from now, how to format cells and all those other things. All right, great. So that's basically how to work with sheets and workbooks. So next we're going to be looking at, okay, we'll start entering data into our Excel. Look at what are the ranges of data you can enter into your Excel sheet, how to enter data, how to copy and paste data, and all those other things. All right, great. Thank you.